So the first step to start this integration, and with anything really in Moodle, is to turn your edit mode on so that your screen looks like this, so that you've got your pen and editing tools. You then want to come into your right-hand side panel, which is called the block drawer. Sometimes this can be closed, so if you just open it with this arrow, you should see add a block at the top here. And it will bring up this menu. From here, you want to scroll and find your Teams integration under ENU Teams. So you're just going to click that. It'll take a few seconds. But what you'll find now at the bottom of the page, so it will add it to the bottom of this section of the page, is your Teams block. Now, you might not like the block here. I know a lot of people would like that to the top. So you can move it by clicking on the double arrow and then just clicking on either to the top, so wherever you would like it to appear. I'm just going to put that right at the top, so I'm not going to keep scrolling down. So the great thing with this tool is it's dynamic. So it will pull any enrollments that you have on your course into Teams. So the first thing we need to do is to request the team. Now, I've enrolled everyone as students on this call, just so that you can see what will happen when you use this tool. So if I just click request a team, what it'll do is it'll take a little while to process, and then it will create the team for me. So whilst we're waiting for that to happen, I'll just go over a few kind of housekeeping things. So as I've mentioned, it's going to pull all of your enrollments from your course into Teams. Now, this might not be something that you want, or you may have people within your module that you are maybe left the module, left the university, or aren't associated with it anymore. You do want to have them removed from the module. And the best way to do that is to contact your school office, and they can remove them through eVision. So this may take a little while. Oh, here we go, that's it. So you'll see now that it says go to Teams. So that just means that my team's been created for this module and it's pulling through it, and hopefully you'll all receive a message. You can also create groups within your module page and use these to create private channels within your team itself. So I'm just going to show that as an example. Creating a group, if you've never done that before in Moodle, you need to go to the participants page and then groups. And from here, we can add in, create a group. I'm just going to do this really quickly. A name that you would associate it with. And I suppose the other thing is that students would know. So if it's your tutorial group, then let them know that that's what it is in the name. And then just save changes. Now, if you do want a private channel, you need to be added to the group yourself and also add the students that you would want to the group. So I'm just going to add a couple of people here. And I'll also add myself. So if you don't add yourself to the group, you won't be able to add a channel. So that's just a key there. So now you'll see that my block looks slightly different in that I still have go to team, but I also have manage channels for groups. And then here I can actually select my group and then request a channel for it. Now, the private channels, I would say, are more for things like group work or for tutorial groups where you're maybe having a conversation. I'll go into that in a minute, which is when you schedule it, you have to schedule your team meetings in a different way when it's in a private channel. So let's just request that in our channel as well. Okay, so I'm going to click on Go to Team. And I'm just going to tell it to open. So this is what happens when you use the tool. You get a nice team. There's a few things to know, primarily how you manage memberships and also how you can remove people from a team if they've been added, and also add people. So I'll go through that first. You'll see here that you have 3 dots next to your team name. And if you go in here, you can manage your team. And if I go into members, I'll be able to see everyone that's been added, people that have been added as teachers, and also anyone that's on the module that's added as a student will appear as a member rather than an owner. So if you're a teacher, you'll get an owner permission within the team. And if you're a student, you'll get a member. So that just means that, of course, students won't be able to edit or add members to that team. if you see someone that's maybe a teacher, like let's say I'm seeing Natalie here that's an owner and I want to remove her from the team. First off, I need to change her role within the team. So I need to change her to a member. And then from there, I would be able to remove Natalie from the team. See how you've got that cross there? You can just remove people that way. Now, because it's dynamic, it will actually add students back in if they are enrolled on Moodle correctly, i.e. they've not been suspended. So that's how you manage memberships. If you wanted to add someone new to the team, you would also come into this three-dot menu and click Add Member. So this is more if there may be an external speaker or a guest that is coming to talk to your module. You can type their email address in here and then click Add at the bottom, and this would then invite them to the team. The other thing that we've had feedback on is that because a team is created, sometimes what happens is you'll have different places where students can communicate with you, and that can sometimes make it a bit complicated. We recommend that the tool is used mainly as a live communication tool. You still want to use Moodle for main communications like announcements and things like that. So if you don't want students to be able to post within the team so that you're not having to manage two places, you can actually turn off their ability to do that. So just to show you that, if you come next to what we call channels here, so these you'll see the group, the private channel that we created with that group, and also the general channel, which is just for everyone on your module. If you come into the three-dot menu again, so that's more options, you have an option to manage channel. And this would then allow you to change the settings within this channel to only owners can post. So that just means that only those that are teachers within your module would be able to post a message there. So that again just stops students maybe asking a question here and it not being seen. However, if this is the way that you want to maybe have some form of communication, you can choose how you would like those to appear. Before I go into scheduling, I'm going to pause and say, is there any questions? I know I've just gone through that quite quickly. So I'll just wait and see if there's any questions on the parts I've covered so far. And if not, then I'll go into scheduling a meeting.
Could you explain one more time how we create subgroups or channels?
Yes, of course. So the channels are based on groups within Moodle. So you first need to create that group, and you would do that through your participants page. So participants, and then within this menu, you need to add a group, and you need to click Create Group.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you then add your members into that group, and you have to add yourself as well. So that's the key. Always make sure you're added to the group if you want to create a channel, and you're going to go into then your block, and then you can add that group in. It'll have a button that'll let you to create that channel.
Just one more question, maybe not directly related to this. In my module, I usually have different cohorts of students, like some from software engineering and some from cybersecurity. Is there a way that I can easily direct all cyber students into one group and all software engineering students into the other?
So there is. So again, if I go to the participants page here and we go to groups, you'll see right at the bottom of the page, there is create a group based on, and you can actually select a program
excellent.
and then create, and that'll create your group that way.
Oh, excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay, so now I'll just go over scheduling meetings so that that's kind of a bit more clear. There's different ways to schedule Teams meetings, and it's really dependent on your needs, I suppose. So if you're using tutorial groups to schedule, there's one way to do them. And if you're having a kind of a whole cohort, so everyone within your module would be accessing that team meeting, there's a different way of scheduling. The best way I find to schedule meetings is to come into your calendar just because this step is the same for both, and to go to new meetings. What this does is it brings up a page that allows you to enter your details, and you can choose how you would like to schedule. So if you're scheduling for a whole team, so for your whole class, and you're happy for everyone to have access, you want to add a channel here, and then you would select your team. So I'm going to do that for our team. You'll find that it'll list all of your teams, so just make sure you find the right one. If you just click here and then select general, you'll see that everyone, well, it's added my team to that. You can then choose whether this would just appear within the team, so it's just a notification in the team that it's been scheduled, or whether you would like students to receive an individual invite. This again goes back to how it's important to only have those that require access to the team or the module to be enrolled in your Moodle page, because everyone will actually receive this and would be able to join. So if you want students to, an owner, so everyone really, to receive a personal invite, i.e. it will appear in their Outlook calendar, you want to toggle this on. And that means that they'll then be able to be invited. So with any kind of meetings that you would do, you would give it a name. And I suppose if you're not doing it through your team, but it's a tutorial, so you want just specific students, you do have to add them as individual attendees. So you would have to, let's say I wanted Natalie, so you're doing individual invites. You would just add their names into this second option here, set the time, and then you can choose whether this repeats. So you would have to do this once, and there's not an easy way of being able to add them to a private channel because it doesn't let you schedule meetings within a private channel. So that's where that's a bit of a downfall. But you would just enter their email addresses here, and then they would be sent an invite. Now, the thing to, I suppose, know is you can actually choose who can enter that meeting. So you can choose, you want everyone that has an invite to be able to access, people that are guests to access, or if you only want yourself and maybe a co-organizer. So a co-organizer is someone that will have similar permissions to you to a meeting. And we do actually recommend that you add a co-organizer. So in this case, I would have maybe Natalie as my co-organizer because we're both talking, or Emma, or both within a team, so that if for whatever reason I was unable to attend the meeting, they would be able to come in and organize. So we do recommend that. If you click on more options, you can actually define that there is a co-organizer by going into roles and then selecting. So I would be able to select Natalie here as my co-organizer and apply. If I then click send, this should send this out to everyone. So now within the team itself, you'll see that it's showing that I have that meeting scheduled. You'll also all have received, if you're part of this team, received an invite, which please just ignore, I'll take it out after, into your calendar to show that the meeting has been scheduled there. I think I'm going to pause again, see if there's any questions. I think I went through that a bit quickly.
I'm coming at this as module leader of a global online programme. So myself and Anna, who's in the meeting, support obviously global online students. So we have live academic sessions that do have that weekly recurring. Should we then be having that as just weekly and having that there for students kind of, or would you recommend doing it separately? What would be the...
So I would say you can do it weekly, as long as you do a personal invite so it appears in their calendar. So if I go back into that, you'll see here you can actually choose the dates and things. It saves you from having to continually redo them, I suppose. Yeah. So you can actually choose how they appear. So if you say it's weekly, it will then let you select the date and the kind of how many weeks it repeats. So again, it does that for you. So it's quite handy. So that's how I would do it if I had weekly reoccurring at the same time, just to save you that bit of time. So there are breakout rooms as well in Teams. If I go in, there's kind of two options. Whether you're in a live session, you can create your rooms there and then, but you can also create them through a calendar. Once you've created your session, you can go back into your invite and you'll find breakout rooms at the top. And from there, you can create rooms. You can say how many rooms you need. Say 2. Add. And then it will let you choose whether you have everyone, or you can assign your participants that way. So if you wanted to split them beforehand, but also within your live session, you see at the top that you have rooms. So you can click on that, and again, you can choose how you want to assign them. So you'll see here that I have automatically assign 4 to 5 people to each room, manually assign, or let people choose the room. So that's how you would then create those breakout sessions in Teams.